I still really like that synth part.
So this is all George at this stage?
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it is.
I played the first bass and guitar.
Boom, pause it right there. Oh my god, dude, I could not have picked a worse frame for that. I look like a chewed up piece of bubblegum. Alright, whatever, let's just get to the video. Hello everybody, my name is George, but I'm not George Daniel. Today we're going to be talking about Tape Notes episode 18. It's a podcast that I found on Spotify. George and Maddie are on it. They talk about a brief inquiry into online relationships. A few of their songs off that record are absolutely banging in terms of the drumming and the production, and I just thought I'd share some of that with you guys. I got a few samples from It's Not Living, then I got something off of How to Draw that I think you guys will really like, and then we'll wrap it up with I Like America, America Likes Me. First thing that we're going to look at is that bass. That bass, we're going to talk about that in a second, but here's the sound. Really, really booming. Just something nice and punchy. Snare is my second sample, a little pop at the beginning and then kind of decays at the end really nicely. Cool. Hats, open hat. Got these in a mute group. Mid tom and low tom. And then I've got ride, crash. Alright, now that we've taken a look at the samples, talked a little bit about the LinnDrum and such, let's go back to the day one demo while I'm setting up the Roland and figure out how George takes some of the ideas off that first iteration and continues them on into the full mix, the last mix of the song. One of the most important things about this song is the double bass groove. So on the 1 and the 3 beats, you have just a singular kick, and then it alternates in the next bar into a double. So what that means is George is just playing on the 1 and 3 at first. Next bar, he alternates and 1 and 3. So it sounds like boom, boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, with always the second note a little bit louder than the first on the doubles. That kind of pushes the song a little bit forward and keeps it chugging.
So this is all George at this stage?
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it is.
Absolutely brilliant. Let me show you guys one more layer. This is from a custom piano that they rented when they were recording the final version of the song. George also uses this to mainly drive the percussion. This is a really, really plucky, beautiful sounding piano, and I'm going to play the texture for you guys, layer it over the drums, and let me know what you think, and kind of pay attention and pick out how, in the final version, this piano sound is really, really leading the groove.
And then it all kind of just blends into sounding like a jangly guitar, which is great, but super percussive.
So you get loads of rhythm in it. And then if you put it in with the track, like it really is really, and you've heard that first, you can feel that leading the percussion, which is really cool. You know, it was really going forwards, you know? It's about syncopation. Yeah.
So that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned a little something about that song. I think we're ready to move on to the next one, though. This is How to Draw / Petrichor, and my absolute favorite song here. I think this song is really George's voice on the record, and it kind of shows how important he is to the band and how creative he is really in producing the 1975 sound overall. This is what kind of sets the 1975 apart from just another pop group and gives them a different flavor. One of the most important things that George brings to the 1975 is his knowledge and background in house music. And house music is basically just interesting beats, kind of dance hall style, always looping. The looping part is really important, and we see it a lot in Petrichor, especially in the drums. They are constantly looping, but because George changes some of the wave forms and some of the shapes of the drums throughout Petrichor, you get a looping part, but it never sounds the same just because of the little things that he adds to it. One of the main things that drives that house loop is the bass line that he creates, and he uses a modular synth to do that. So let's talk a little bit about what a modular synth is, and I'll play you guys the modular bass line that George came up with for this song.
Of YouTube. Play the texture of that though, because this is beautiful, this texture.
Here, this is the synth on its own. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's sidechained by this.
That bass line is really what makes this song so special to me. It doesn't really sound like much, but you'll see in a second when we layer it over the drums how important it is to the actual sound of Petrichor. It's the very foundation of the song. And the way that it was built was with a modular synth, which is a system that is completely analog. George manipulates all of the waveforms, adds sidechain compression to create that kind of brrr effect that you're hearing, and has to time it himself. He only really gets one shot to do this when he's building it into the song, and then from there you'll see it carry and continue to kind of drop out with the sidechain as the drums progress. So let's do it. I'm going to show you guys how to drum. Alright, well that's that, and in case you guys missed it, I will isolate just the drum part and show you how I play that sequence. I may have got a little carried away with the editing there and not really focused on that too much, but here you go. Alright, so let's finish it off with I Like America, and we'll keep this one short because it's really a very, very simple groove, and that is not meant to take anything away from George or anything like that, but the purpose of this song is not to create a complex, fresh, rejuvenated take on the old classic trap beat. It's to kind of, well, George takes a classic trap beat, you know, all the regular samples, the young chop snare, the machine gun hats, whatever, and the spin on this is really Maddie's vocals and how George edits them. He uses CLA vocals a lot, and it's not really about the auto-tune or anything like that. It's more about how the vocals add a percussive element to the music. It goes from being just another trap beat to being something that's really, oh yeah, this is definitely the 1975, and I know that not because I'm hearing Maddie, but because this is just another classic George thing that he likes to do, where he'll add vocals to kind of create rhythm in the song.
And then what else you got? So that became part of the beat. Me going, oh. That's just all me singing and George turning it into an instrument.
Alright, so let's play it. The samples are really easy, so I'm sure you guys can follow along.
my skin is fire. So does It's that designer, it's that on fire. Am I a liar? Oh, show me lay down. My skin is fire, it's so desired. No gun required, or at least help me lay down. I'm scared of dying, it's fine. Oh, what's the fiber? Being young in the city, believe and say something. Would you please listen? Would you please listen? We can see it's missing. Would you please say so we know? Being young in the city, believe and say something. Would you please listen? Would you please listen? We can see it's missing. Would you please say so we know? Close up,